Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, what's up? Hi, it's Nina and Wes here. Nina, Wes.
Nina, Wes.
We are going live on Instagram and Facebook today. And also, we have a live podcast going at this very moment on Spreaker.com/unabashedly resolute.
Wes already needs water.
It's been a rough day for me. The weather here is just up and down, up and down. I feel like my sinuses are about to implode.
Hey, Angela.
What's up, football nerdy girl, and Tracy and Bob
And Ia.
and Ia and Bob and Ia and
Welcoming everyone on, talking about changing our stars.
rewrite your stars.
Why don't we rewrite the stars?
If you've seen the show, the movie,
The show?
The Greatest Showman, that's where the show comes in. There's a song called Rewrite Your Stars. And so today I was just thinking about what kind of class that we need. Thank you so much. My hair looks great. I'm wearing a hat. I'm surprised you could tell. But we were just thinking about what separates Magic Essentials. You know, what is it the thing that makes us Magic is Essential? And we want to get back to the core values of that.
You think Angela was talking to me in my hair?
Yes, she was. And so today we're going to talk about rewriting your stars. We're going to start with there's a book that oh, thank you. My beard looks great. Angela says Nina recently got a book from Stephen Curtis Chapman called Stephen Curtis Chapman.
No, it's called Between Heaven and the Real World, My Story.
Between Heaven and the Real World. And there's a part of the story where he, in 2012, was playing at Carnegie Hall. And it was the first time he ever played in this historic theater.
It was 2014. If I'm going to be
2014. In 2012, 2014. But someone asked him the question you people always get asked. Did you ever dream this would happen? And he basically says, no, I didn't dream it would happen because that dream was too big for a boy from Western Kentucky. And I know exactly what he's saying. Last year, I lived a dream that I didn't even know how to dream. I got to study in Oxford University in theology and apologetics. A guy who was 10 years out of college and didn't think I had a shot in the world at doing anything academic again, and wound up just having an amazing year and studying at the top university in the world. It wasn't even a dream that I thought that I could even dream. It was my dreams were too small, right? And I think a lot of us suffer from having dreams that are too small, and This is very personal because this is our lives, guys. This is who we are. This is what our future is. And if our dreams are too small, we limit ourselves. And I don't want you to limit yourself. And so I want you to try to begin to dream the impossible dreams. But there's certain things that have to happen before you can dream the impossible dreams. One, you actually have to do some things. You have to do some dreams. But the thing is, we don't even know what dreams we are going to have in our life. We don't even know what the big dreams are yet for a lot of us, because we don't even know who we fully are. We don't even know what we're capable of yet because we're stuck in this static place in our life, and we don't even know what's possible. One, we have bad habits and we have toxic thinking, right? We have to change that. We have to change those things about ourselves, and that's the hardest part. That's the scariest part, because Nina and I have been talking a lot recently about what do people want more than anything? They want certainty. But when you start to dream and you start to change yourself, it is uncertain because you don't even know who you fully are yet. And I know that sounds so weird to say, but you have things inside of you that you didn't know were there that are absolutely amazing. Not only are they amazing, but they're necessary for the rest of the world. So Do you have any thoughts on that when we're going on? We're talking about dreaming.
Dreaming? Well, you guys have heard me talk about dreaming before, and I just know that we were made for big dreams. And a lot of us never see those dreams come to fruition because we don't believe they're possible, or we're scared of failing, or we're scared what the world will think if they don't actually happen. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, when we actually go after our dreams, we see them come to fruition. Either that, or we learn a whole lot along the way that help us to dream even bigger. So those are some of my thoughts.
Because in life, the two things that we really go after really hard is we go after comfort and we go after security. But, C.S. Lewis says in The Weight of Glory, it's not that we ask too much of God, it's that we ask too little. And so if you read my post today on Instagram, I talked about dreaming too little, right? And so what causes us to have small dreams and small imaginations? What is it about our life that precludes us from dreaming the impossible dreams? I think about Alexander Hamilton, the Lin-Manuel Miranda Broadway hit, right? He was on a little island in the Caribbean. No one knew who he was, and he came and became one of the founding fathers of America. So he dreamed an impossible dream, right? So these things are possible. I come from a small town of 500 people. 500 people in my town. We had a broken caution light. Literally, and we had...
It's a tiny town.
It's a super tiny town.
Tiny.
500 people. And yet I was able to study at the greatest university in the world. We've traveled, Nina and I, we built a photography business from the ground up and became international wedding photographers. I was hired to be the speechwriter for the governor of Kentucky at one point.
He did not do that job.
I did not take the job. I turned the job down for various reasons.
He was too good for it.
I was not too good for it. But my upbringings and my surroundings environment should have dictated that I didn't do it, that I shouldn't have done anything special in my life. But I chose not to let that happen. So somewhere in life, we've made a wrong turning, right? Somewhere in life, we've accepted a perception of ourselves. We've accepted a thought pattern. We've accepted something about who we are, and that is determining who we're becoming. Right, in Mere Christianity, C.S. Lewis says that the person who finds out they're going the wrong way and turns around first will get to their destination quicker. Or the person who's working out a math problem and they figure out there's a problem in the equation and they go back and fix it, they will come to the solution quicker than someone who continues to work the problem out knowing that there's errors in it, or trying to look and see if there actually are errors in it. And so there's no secret formula into learning how to dream. There's no secret formula. For most of us, our parents were correct. It's hard work, it's thick skin, and resolve, right? But there's still those foundations. Those are still the foundations for measurable success, right? Those are still the foundations we look: hard work, thick skin, and resolve. And if you want to go after your dreams, you're going to have those things. But you're going to have to let your imagination widen and open up. There's no sustained or duplicated success that's found accidentally. You don't accidentally become successful. You don't accidentally come into the impossible dreams.
Or it's very rare.
Those have to be cultivated, and those have to be sought after. And so the problem is most of us are afraid to go after those because, like Nina said, we don't want to fail. And we have toxicity in every area of our lives. We have toxic thinking, we have toxic habits, we have toxic food, we have toxic chemicals,
relationships.
We have toxic relationships. We have all this toxicity that is stunting and limiting our imagination, which limits us to small dreams, which limits us to smaller lives. And the impact that we could actually have in the world is so limited simply because of all this toxicity. So we want to clear all of that out. So there are 4 areas in the life that I mentioned that we have toxicity in. So we're going to call these the psychological, the biological, the relational, and the environmental. Your thinking, your diet, your relationships, and your environment around you are 4 areas of your life where they have toxicity. And these areas dictate our thinking and how we go about becoming the people that we are. Now, most of us make New Year's resolutions. Every year we make a New Year's resolution. And some people
I didn't.
Some people have do the reverse
I'm going to drink at the same time.
and say that, oh, I'm not doing New Year's resolutions. Resolutions are actually good ideas. They're good things. The problem is we have this notion that if we try something and fail, we weren't meant to do it. You know, my 8-year-old son wants to play basketball. He goes out and tries out in a really difficult league and doesn't do so well, and he thinks that he hates basketball and it's stressful and he doesn't want to do it anymore. Well, like good parents, we forced him to continue to take basketball lessons and practices and trainings, and he really likes it now, and he's getting much, much better.
He's growing more confident.
And he's growing more confident because he didn't quit. A lot of us will take that failure to mean we're not good enough. But just because you fall down, it's only a failure if you stay down, right? But a lot of us are not willing to fail. And in not willing to fail, we want to be comfortable and we want security, and that is limiting us in this. But so most of us need help, right? And so that's what Nina and I are that's what we're doing. We're trying to give you a space and allow you to be able to dream those impossible dreams. That's what Magic is Essential is all about. It's about us walking with you so you can cultivate those dreams. It's allowing you a space to lay your comfort and security aside for a moment. It's like when you're learning to ride a bike and your dad has his hand on the back of the bike and he's just steadying it for you for a minute. And then suddenly you take off down the road and then you're riding all over the neighborhood without his help. That's what we're here for. We want to cultivate that. We want to help you catch fire of your imagination and go, wait, I'm more than this. I can be more than this. I am more than what my current future or my current situation says that I am. I am great. C.S. Lewis also says in The Weight of Glory that we've never met a mere mortal, that we laugh, joke, deride, and make fun of immortals all the time. Think about that. Each one of us is not a mere mortal. We're immortals engaging with other immortals. You have such a special gift inside of you. You have such a special and unique potential inside of you that has to be cracked open. And it's not being cracked open because of our toxic thinking. Or we're afraid to be unmoored from the bank. And we're afraid to go out into the deeper waters. But a lot of us are warriors, or we're sailors, or we were meant to sail the open seas. And you don't know until you get there. I didn't know I was a person who liked to travel until I was out there.
Until your wife forced you to.
Until Nina forced me to get out there. And then I wound up moving to a foreign country and studying in
Miraculous.
Oxford. Yes. So why is it so hard to pull the trigger? Why is it so hard to say, I want to eat better, or I want to do this better, or I want to do that better? Well, it's because we have conditioned responses, right? They're called reflexive actions. It's when you do something for a certain amount of time, that becomes second nature. You guys know that becomes muscle memory. Oh yeah, it's second nature for me to do that. It's muscle memory. So when someone says something to you, the trigger words, right? It triggers a response. That's called a reflexive action. We have thousands of these reflexive actions that we have in our life. And so when we fail, our thing is to recoil, right? We have all these negative thought patterns. Now this is something I think is so fantastic. It's just coming to light now for a lot of people, is that in our brain we have neural pathways. We have roads, super highways through our brain, that when certain information comes through, that information, whatever the information is dictated. It dictates which avenue it will go because of the type of information it is. If it's stressful information, it's going to go through this pathway. If it's happy information, it'll go through this pathway. But they're learning in neuroscience, this is amazing, that you can actually, by stopping thoughts and by creating new thoughts and new habits, you can actually kill off those old things. So the person that you say, well, I'm just this way, I'm just this way, I'm just fearful, I'm just timid, I'm just angry, I'm just this. Those are all conditioned behaviors that we've learned as bad habits that we've learned. And a lot of us actually aren't introverts. We're actually extroverts who have caught on to this reflexive thing. And we suddenly are becoming introverted because we've allowed ourselves to become that. You
Not
know,
that being an introvert is bad.
no, not that. I'm just saying that there are a lot of people who act like introverts, but they're not. They're not actually introverted. They're actually extroverts who can set the world on fire, but they've allowed negative, toxic thoughts to create these pathways that limit themselves. And so, we need to stop those thoughts, create new thoughts, and then guess what? New thinking creates new perspective. And suddenly, what you thought was an impossibility now is possible. And what the impossible dream suddenly, look, well, that's in reach. That could be in reach, but it only happens when you begin to work on yourself. And it's baby steps. It's baby steps, and it's falling on your face, and it's taking a faceful and a mouthful of gravel every now and then getting up and dusting yourself off and going, well, all right, I didn't do so well that time. So Nina and I are here as Magic is Essential. The reason why we do these videos, the reason why we are doing Young Living, the reason why we get on here and do these videos about essential oils is not because we want to sell a product, or it's not because we want to create an empire,
I want to create an empire. I
No.
will rule you all.
It's because we have taken these small steps in our lives, and we've done that for a long period of time. She's the queen. We've done these, we've made these changes, and we have seen impacts in our lives. We've seen so many changes in our lives, and our perspectives changed, and our futures have changed, all because we decided to do the work. And Young Living now is actually helping us do that even better. So, if you could take some toxic things out of your life and begin to replace it with positive and holistic ones, would you do it? If you had a community around you to cheer you on and to pick you up, dust you off when you fall down, would you do it? That's what our heart is. You see, there's a philosophy that I love, that Magic is Essential, and for most of my life now, since I heard this, say most of my life, and recently in my life, I heard this philosophy, and I love it. So we are big fans of the University of Kentucky basketball team.
No.
100 years they've been amazing. Probably the greatest tradition in college basketball, Kentucky Wildcats. Our coach right now is Coach John Calipari, and number one. And
no haters in here. Only kindness. Be nice.
And he said, whether you like him or not, I could care less whether you like him or not. But what he said was,
I do. I care. I want people to be nice.
I want them to be nice, but in their hearts, that's on them. What he said when he came to be the coach of Kentucky, it really, I didn't like it at first. He said, it's not about the team. Now, growing up, I'm like, no, it's all about the team. It's all about, I, as an individual, give up my goals so that the team can reach their goals. And he said, no, that's backwards. He says, as a coach, if I can get each individual player to reach their potential and to reach their personal goals, as a team collectively, we will reach our collective goals. And that has just resonated with me so much that I know if I am my personal best, I know if I reach my personal potential in my marriage, as a father, that as a family, we will reach our goals as that family. If each individual brings their A game, if each individual becomes their best.
Preach.
And so we want that for you guys. We want you guys to begin to take those steps. And it can be overwhelming in the beginning. It can be frustrating in the beginning. But remember, every time you fall down and you get back up, you're creating new neural pathways in your brain, and you're taking the negative and you're pushing past it in the positive. And at some point, that positive is going to overtake the negative, and that negative is going to die off. And that whole image of yourself, that timid, fearful, angry person who is afraid of everything, that begins to die away, and this new thing begins to be born. It's kind of like Eustace in the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, when he goes from being the dragon back into the boy. There's that whole transformation that can take place. It's painful because you have to lose part of yourself. In talking about this in a simple, like a dietary thing, when I came back from England, I spent the last 10 years with facial migraines. I spent the last 10 years in absolute misery.
As did we.
brain, that just like the swelling through here, swelling through there, and it made me irritable and enraged all the time, and it began to change my personality.
It was super enjoyable.
And I hawked loogies all day long.
Gross.
I had constant sinus drainage. My stomach was always messed up because of the pain. And it was just a miserable, miserable existence. But it became that dysfunctional part became normal for me. And so a lot of us have bought into this thing that dysfunction is normal, but it's not. And so when we came back from England, I remember Nina and I have a conversation about we need to do a diet change. We need to try something. We need to.
I think the words were, Wes, we need to do a dramatic diet change because we need to figure this out because I need you to be a pleasant person to be around.
Yeah. And I have never yelled so much in my life as over the last 10 years just because my fuse was like this big. And suddenly I thought that's who I was becoming.
But with all that said, with the amount of pain and junk inside of your head, I gotta say that he did pretty great. I mean, he was pushed through all that and still is pretty amazingly kind and helpful and a million great things. But definitely hard to connect with your husband on an emotional level all the time when he is feeling miserable physically all the time.
And so I actually went through a diet change. Now, it was hard.
We took him off of every
inflammatory food.
Every inflammatory
So
food
if there was any food
possible.
that had inflammation, that caused inflammation, we got rid of it. So basically I eat meat and vegetables and some fruit and leafy greens.
And with some turmeric lattes.
Turmeric lattes.
Things to bring down the inflammation. He felt better. Like within 24 hours, he was feeling better.
24 hours I started feeling better, and it's been, what?
Since July.
Since
so
July.
It's like 6 months.
6 months of this. Now I've got sinus pressures flared up today, and I'm like, oh, this is excruciating. But this would have been a good day for me, and it's excruciating now because I had changed. I got rid of the toxicity out of my body, and you know what happened? I could breathe. My nasal blockage was probably about 80 to 90% every day. I was blocked and just laboring for breaths. And I know some people will say, well, what did you have to give up? Well, I gave up pizza. I gave up burgers. I gave up sandwiches. I gave up rice. I gave up soda. I gave up candy bars. I gave up processed sugar, processed
quinoa.
food. Quinoa. I love quinoa. I gave up quinoa.
We thought that was healthy for him, but inflammatory.
And so some people are going, that's too much. You've gone too far, Wes. That's too much. I can't handle it. And you know what?
Because I love food so much. That's what we hear all the time.
I love food. I love food. It's so good. You know what? You know what's good? You know what's better than that? Breathing, being normal, being
Joy.
happy. Joy is better than that. And so I had to change. Here's what happened. I had to change my verbiage too, because what happens when we go on these New Year's resolutions or we go on these diets? What happens is I can't have it. You're still using toxic language to discuss what you can or cannot eat. So I decided to change my language from I can't have to I choose not to do it. And suddenly I've empowered myself. And suddenly I've given myself the authority to say, no, I'm not doing that. And I've tried to implement those foods back in my diet, and it is a mistake every single time. We're off dairy as well. I love ice cream. Oh, brownies and ice cream and chocolate syrups. Come on. But you know what? I love more than that. I love being happy around my family, and I love breathing. And it was a drastic change. But you know what also happened? My perspective changed. And my body weight has stayed the same for like 6 months. I've been like the exact same weight. And it's like, oh my gosh, I think I see 2 abs out there. I think I see look, I have abs.
You have to dig for them, but they're there.
I mean, they're
They're definitely more noticeable than mine.
They're more noticeable than they have been in 20 years because of those changes. And so, with my 8-year-old daughter, Eliana, same thing with diet, right? She was hyper, and
she has been our hyper child, like bounce off the walls. And we've never given our kids juice or soda. Like soda is a treat that they would get once in a blue moon,
like a Sprite.
Then it was Sprite. But so we've never really given them soda or caffeine or lots of desserts, but they would have like little candies, and at school they as rewards they get candy all the time. And
I don't know why they do
processed sugars and all that kind of stuff. We weren't super unhealthy, but wow, it's amazing how a little goes a long way, and sometimes in the negative. And it was one day I was like, we need to, because Wes was dealing with all these issues with inflammation. We're like, maybe our daughter is too. So we're like, Eliana, we're going to have to take some dramatic changes. We need to see if we can help you focus more in school. She was having a hard time focusing. She got distracted super easily, and was hyper.
The dyes,
moody.
Oh, so it's all over the spectrum.
Yes.
There was
it was like living with a teenager or a tween going through puberty.
Within 30
8.
seconds, she'd go through 5 or 6 different emotions. Just it's like a roller coaster.
I told Wes, I'm like, we need to try this. So we took her off of gluten, dairy, and processed sugars, and any artificial dyes. That was a big one. I looked at like sweet tarts, sweeties, tardies. What are they called?
Tardies?
Tardies? Sweet tarts?
No, Smarties.
Smarties. Sweet tarts, tardies, Smarties. That's where it came from. And just said that's got like 5 dyes that are linked to hyperactivity. Guys. For reals. So even though it's been tough at first, like she got sad really in the beginning, and it breaks your heart because you're like, I just want to give them everything. So then you're like, let's just give them sugar again. We just decided to, bring in special dye-free or natural dyes, that kind of stuff, treats for the teacher to give to her when the teacher gave the gross treats to everyone else. So really, our daughter's the lucky one. And it's every once in a while she's like really misses out on getting that stuff, but for the most part, she's just happier. She's calmer. So
much calmer.
She is not moody she's been.
Her math scores have gone up. Her reading scores have gone up. I mean, it's just incredible what that...
So we just detoxified her diet, and that alone, just that, not to mention the essential oils that we use and different supplements we use for their health, but just the diet alone, that has made a huge impact on her.
So if you look at your life and you look at the toxicity of let's look at the chemicals in your life, your shampoos, your deodorants, your dishwashing liquid, your laundry detergents, the processed foods you eat, the sugars, the dyes, and all of that. There's a consensus that there's chemicals in there that cause cancer, infertility. They cause asthma problems and developmental problems in kids. We have all this that we're constantly putting into our system, and it's overloading. It's overloading our bodies, and our body is dysfunctional on the inside. Our liver can't filter out that much poison that we're sticking into it, because the liver sees sugar as a poison, and if you get sugar at every meal, and then you pump in other chemicals from the outside, from your household products, your liver's really overworked. Now, I'm speaking as someone who has had cancer. I have had infertility, and I have breathing and sinus and asthma problems. So I'm not speaking as someone who just, off the street here. I've lived this, and I know that if you we've detoxed the house, now we've detoxed our diet, we're also detoxing our thinking and our relationships. We're working through this process, and what we're finding is we're finding joy.
And
freedom. There's still stress around us. We should be stressed. We should be pulling our hair out right now. We should be falling apart, broken down in a fetal position, crying because, not everything comes up roses, but we're joyful and we're happy. We found ways to dream, even in the midst of all this craziness going on in our life right now. Mm-hmm. What we found to help us, and part of what we're offering here is we found a company called Young Living. Now, they're a small part of this process, but they're a vital part for us.
Yeah, this is... I want to point out that this is not a talk about Young Living. This is like a talk that has just been a gateway to health for us. For some people, and when we say Young Living, we're not talking about necessarily the company, although the company obviously is the biggest part of it.
Talking about the products.
But the things, creation that God's given us, those things have been important to us. It's been a gateway to other healthy areas of our lives. So I want to make that clear. For some of you, it may be you discovered getting rid of certain foods in your life have led to other things, and some of you have found that exercise has led you to realize you're starting to feel better because you're exercising, and it's led you to want other healthier. Like for us, it started with a bottle of essential oil. peppermint
Yeah.
oil. And then we saw someone talk about getting rid of toxins in your house, chemicals, toxic chemicals and stuff like that. And then we went back to the essential oils and started replacing some of our cleaning products, and all these things started to intertwine. And then I started thinking, oh my gosh, we get toxins out of our bodies. We also want to get toxins out of our earth. How can we treat our earth,
Yeah.
the creation that God gave us, more kindly? And then, oh wait, he's dealing with these sinus issues. He's, instead of taking allergy meds, he's just using essential oils to support his respiratory system, his digestive system, and that led to what products can we make with this? And it's just been all encompassing.
What changes can we make?
What changes can we make? And it's been just amazing. And Tracy, thank you
Yes, thank
so
you, Tracy.
much.
Yes.
I'm glad this is inspiring and motivating for you.
So
That's what we want. We hope for when we share.
we are literally rewriting our future in the Mullins family. We're rewriting our kids' future.
Because we could be literally, when we say rewrite your stars, changing your stars, what we're saying is we meet so many people who say they deal with all these sicknesses, and a lot of them are linked to toxins in your house.
Yep.
or to medications you've been taking forever that still aren't helping, but the doctor says just stay on it anyways, or relationships that you're in, or food that you eat. Like that's one of the biggest ones for me, is every time we tell people that Wes feels more human than he's ever felt, at least in a long time, that he's actually communicating with me better because he can actually think, because his sinuses aren't flamed out to here. We tell people that, and that he just changed his diet, and that means for him, it's not the same for everyone, for him that meant no more processed sugars, no more grains, rice, all these things that inflame everything inside of him. And as soon as we say that, people get so disappointed. That's their first reaction, which I get, because we all love food. Food drives us. But
I think the reason why food drives us is because it is that instant comfort that we can get. Mm-hmm. It's that instant thing that I can get gratification. I have control over making myself happy, and I choose to make myself happy now, as opposed to making myself happy in the future, where I don't know if I'm going to be happy or not.
And by the way, I want to interject. I'm not recommending you get off all of your medications.
No, I was going to mention that as well. No, we are not anti-medicine, anti-doctor, none of that.
But my point was,
if you can make changes.
Yeah. Stop looking at everything. If we could encourage people to stop looking at everything as this great big obstacle, and replace that thinking with, this might be the very thing that sets me free from all of the obstacles, that would be a dynamic, crazy, amazing change in all of our lives if we could start thinking that way. Like the very thing we call an obstacle is actually the very thing. It's like the gate to freedom. So you can carry on where you were.
Yeah, so the way Nina and I got started on this journey is simply, we called it a ditch and switch. We took all we said, now this is how we operate though. If there's a possibility of change, because we've done so many things in our life, we've seen so many things, that for us, we know that change needs to happen, and we're not going to wait around and mourn and pine over a pizza or a loss of this. We were like, okay, we have toxic chemicals. Let's scan everything. This has carcinogenic material in it. This has this. We're done. So we cleared out entire cleaning supplies.
Everything.
For one bottle of Thieves. And
there's a cleaner called Thieves, if you're not familiar with it. Young Living has this cleaner, and it's like organic, and it's cheaper than every organic cleaner and non-organic cleaner out there. And it works better than all of them, and it's actually beneficial to your health even when you use it. And that has rid us of, we've replaced it with every, like, toilet bowl cleaner, tub cleaner, stain remover in clothes, carpet cleaner.
Make our own deodorant, make our own laundry detergent. We do all that. We do it for a reason and for a purpose, because it helps us dream more. And the first,
do we?
Okay.
Where do we want to go here? Well, we don't want to be mindful of time, so we want to wrap up quickly here.
So, what Nina and I, what we're offering, what we're extending into to you guys, is that.
Well, first a mind shift. Mind shift change. Mind shift change?
It's a philosophy change,
Yeah.
right? A change in your thinking, and sometimes for people it's easier if you do with the diet changes or if you do with the cleaning products changes. You start there and you start to see progress, and you start, I can make these changes, because your thinking is going to be the hardest thing to change. Making the products on the outside, changing those is going to be a little bit easier than doing the thinking change, but it all has to change.
Right.
All the toxicity has to go.
And for us, it was, you took like this moment when we were in Nepal, and our friend Jacqueline gave Wes a bottle of peppermint oil, which helped support him in all the ways digestively. And then we saw such a dramatic effect and change and help and support that Wes was like, we need to do this. We need to do this. We need to use these essential oils and see how else they can help us. And we got back, and that's what we started doing. And then when we started just researching the benefits of essential oils, like scientific research, because we were skeptics and we're like, snake oils, like so many think. And at first, and then most people try them and they're like, holy crap, why did I not believe this stuff was legit? It's like literally all in creation all around us. And so that was kind of our gateway for us, which is why we always share about Young Living, because literally brand does matter. Like we always tell people, don't get essential oils off the shelves or off of Amazon. First of all, Amazon, they might say Young Living on the label, but they can put whatever crap they want inside that bottle, and it may not be Young Living, because Young Living doesn't sell on Amazon.
It's the integrity of Young Living, because that's also one of our core values, is integrity
in business.
In business, and so we found a company that has that. And so Nina and I are offering to anyone listening out there, we're offering help. We're offering to be your mentors of wellness.
Mentors of wellness,
or ambassadors of health.
The queen of health. I'm not really the queen of health.
No, but
I have so much to learn.
But what we offer in Magic is Essential is we offer someone to come along beside of you and to encourage you and to give you community and to say, yeah, it's hard, but we're here for you. We're here for you. And we're craving community. We're craving people who honestly love us and want to see us do well. And we want to see you reach your potential. We at Magic is Essential want to see you reach your full self. Get rid of the toxicity, because what you are is absolutely astounding. There's not another person like you in the universe ever created. You were created for such greatness. But the toxicity of your life is hindering that and it's stymieing that. And if you could just begin to get rid of it, you're going to see a whole new life open in front of you.
Yeah, whether it's just like changing your diet, start there if that's easiest for you. Or if it's getting rid of some relationships that have been completely life-sucking. That can be so freeing, to let go of relationships that have just hurt you tremendously. Don't hold on to that crap, guys. If someone's bringing you nothing but pain and discouragement, don't keep them in your lives. Let them go. If God wants those people back in your lives, it'll happen, but not because you're trying to be a nice person by sticking around. Let go of toxic relationships if it needs to start there. If you're like us and it starts with something as crazy sounding as essential oils, we are here as well. And that is like, you get a starter kit, $160. That's all you got to do. And you get 11 oils, a diffuser, samples of Nixura. We could go talk about all that stuff all day long. But that's what we're here for, is to encourage you in that journey, because it all ties together, guys.
It does.
All ties together.
What products you put into your house, what thinking you allow in your brain, what relationships you allow in your heart, and what environment, they all affect who you become. And that's what I teach my kids every day. What you do every day, that determines who you become. And if you begin to step out and say, I am worth it, I am powerful, I matter. My health matters to me. It matters to my family. If you look at it like that, then you'll begin to see that, you know what? Buying Tide or buying these other things, I like the smell of fabric softener or this. What's more important, you having those instant gratification moments, or you changing, completely rewriting your stars and becoming someone you didn't even know that was possible, dreaming dreams that you never even thought that were possible. But one day when you're sitting in a class in Oxford, listening to a lecture from John Lennox or Richard Swinburne, and you're going, what in the world am I doing here? It's because I chose to make choices that changed my trajectory of our lives.
That scared the crap out of you.
It was scary, but it was so worth it. Such amazing things happen, and greatness and dreams, the impossible dreams, are waiting for you out there. So I want to wrap this up. If you want to find out more about who we are, magicisessential.com, or go to our Facebook page, Magic is Essential.
Or Instagram, Magic is Essential.
Now, the reason why we say magic is essential is because we believe wholeheartedly that there is magic in life, that the synthesis of imagination and reason bring together this illuminating thing in our life that allows us to be fully who we are, and that we need magic in life. It's not all science, or it's not all comfort, or it's not all meat. There's magic in things. There's wonders to behold. And you actually are one of those wonders. And we would love to walk beside of you and see you come fully alive. And with that, I'm going to read for you from The Greatest Showman, the lyrics.
I can sing it for you. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to.
Come alive.
Stumble through your days.
You stumble through your days, got your head hung low, and your sky's a shade of gray. Like a zombie in a maze, you're asleep inside, but you can't shake awake. 'Cause you're just a dead man walking, thinking that's your only option, but you can flip the switch and brighten up your darkest day. The sun is up, the color's blinding. Take the world and redefine it. Leave behind your narrow mind. You'll never be the same. Come alive, come alive. Go and light your light. Let it burn so bright. Reach up to the sky. It's open wide. You're electrified. When the world becomes a fantasy and you're more than you could ever be, because you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. Mm-hmm. And you know you can never go back again to the world that you were living in.
You're alive.
Because you're alive. Come alive.
Come alive.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Again, if you want to find out more about us, or Magic is Essential, or essential oils, or
just dreaming big,
please come follow us and direct message us. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hang out with you. You guys have a great night.
See ya.